Hey guys, welcome back to the Po2 podcast. I'm Amber.
And I'm Jay.
It's really nice to have you back on here, Jay. I have missed doing these without you. It hasn't been the same.
Well, I appreciate it. I've been out due to illness.
Yeah, sorry. It's nice to have you back. So
Nice.
we
It's nice to close this out together.
yeah. So we're gonna review the final episode.
You need to watch, because we only have one last chance to save the world.
Is this real?
We're all just gonna die.
Power of three, ready for anything. We're stronger than we've ever been. We can handle whatever we encounter.
So, where do you want to start?
Well, the first question I have is, are you sad?
Yes, I'm sad because I feel like the reboot should have gotten one more season to wrap things up. But that being said, they knew they were going to get canceled. And like a lot of shows on the CW, they should have wrapped it up. They had 13 episodes to wrap it up, and they chose to end it the way they ended it. They said what they said, they did what they did. So, yeah.
I have to be honest. To be honest with you, I don't miss the show. I thought that when the show ended, I would be like really upset and be like, no, it's over. But I just don't feel anything.
Well, I think we just saw it coming. Like, we knew that it was never going to be successful as the original, or even as successful as anything, as far as the CW goes. Not to
Yeah.
throw shade, but I mean, we knew that. We knew that season one was probably going to be its peak.
Yeah, I feel like season one was the best season. I think a lot of people agree that season one was like the best. If and to be honest with you, the reason that it worked so well is because they pretty much copied a lot of what the original show did. They did add their own spin and they did do things differently, but they didn't totally flip it the way that other seasons have done. Changing the formula, changing how it's done, all this stuff. I think that Caleb said this in the last podcast we did, but he said that he felt we both said that we felt like the wrong team was behind it.
I just think they couldn't find any one team. Like, they couldn't settle on who should do it. And I'll be honest, I think that the current showrunners, they had the most fun with it. And I think they had a story to tell. And I do like what they did with season 4. So I would have preferred if they had, one like final season to
Yeah.
go do things the way they wanted to do things. But
Okay.
so on to the finale.
Okay, so the episode starts off with they are watching TV. They're watching these videotapes, which is the VHS storyline, which I know what Caleb thinks about the VHS storyline. I know what I feel about it, but I don't know. What do you think about the whole videotape thing?
I think I said it before, when it was introduced. I felt like they're going for this 90s vibe. The OG show started out in the 90s. I mean, they had, a VHS scene, and I don't know, like, it just reminded me of like movies around that time that had video store scenes.
Yeah, I mean,
So, yeah.
I like Diana, and I feel like she really does feel like a white lighter that would be in that world, but I do not like the storyline. I don't like how they did it. I don't like how it was executed. I don't think that.
Yeah, because they're implying that Phoebe Hallowell created that room, and I just thought it's such a weird thing for her to do. It just doesn't seem like something Phoebe would even be capable of doing, much less wanting to do.
And so they're watching these videotapes, and basically, I don't even know how to like describe what's going on because it's so confusing to me. But basically, Kayla is kind of reeling from the loss of Dev, and they're still at the funeral. And basically, she's like, "I'm not your sister," and she leaves. And Josephina shows up and tells them basically what's going to happen.
I don't like the whole time travel thing. I get why they did it, but it negates what happened in the last 2, 3 episodes. I guess 2 episodes. Because
Yeah,
it basically undoes episodes 12 and 11. So considering how short the season is, it just feels like we really jumped from episode 11 to 13. And I don't know,
yeah,
I just don't like it on a short season. It just feels like it just feels like a lot of the story was just shortened even more. So I don't know. I mean, the time thing, it's weird that they did a time jump as well. And then they just went back right to where they were.
yeah. They did a huge time jump, and then so for me, I find all of this just so convoluted and just so sort of out there.
Don't get me started.
Like Roxy talks to Mel, and Mel's like, she knows about her going to sleep because apparently she's seen it on the videotape, because she's seen everything on the videotape apparently. Um, and Mel stops Kayla on the road after she leaves. And I don't even know, like, I don't even know what to say because the way I feel about Roxy and Mel, it just does not, I don't I don't care about either of them, to be honest, them being together. I know the idea of putting a time witch in love with someone that has to like, this is circada. I know that sounds like epic, but it just doesn't feel epic. What do you
Yeah.
think?
I mean, again, I thought we saw the last of Roxy a few episodes ago. And for her to be in the finale, I just feel like, I mean, I know that maybe they thought they were gonna get another season or something, but I just feel like for this episode, they really should have brought in bigger players. I feel like they could have incorporated Marisol. They could have brought in like more family members, just something. We didn't need more of Roxy. They really could have wrapped that whole story up back then. And like, on her last episode, they could have just had Mel come in last minute and tell her, don't like, don't sleep without saying goodbye or whatever. That could have happened. That could have wrapped up her story like episodes ago. And her screen time in the finale could have gone to someone else.
Yeah, I agree. And so the unseen, that guy who's apparently he's a troll, the large
Mm,
guy that
yeah.
stole the Book of Shadows, he does some kind of ritual, and Inara is talking to him, and we find out that in the VHS world, whatever you want to call it, I still hate saying that. It's so stupid. So we find out that basically what Inara is going to do could destroy both worlds. It could destroy the world of the Vera sisters, and it could destroy the world that Diana's from, who is one of the from the Halliwell world. So
Right.
they look on the TV, and there's this really ridiculous scene where they are adjusting the aerial, and Harry has to link hands with Diana and Josephina to like
Uh,
get the,
it takes me, I know what they were doing. They're going for the whole like 80s, 90s TV with bad reception, and you had to like, because I don't know if you had a television like this, but when I was a kid, and these were already old by my childhood, they were already old, but TVs used to have antennas.
yeah, I remember,
And
yeah.
yeah. So like if your TV was starting to like static out or get blurry, you got like a blurry screen, you kind of had to mess with the antenna to get good reception. And that's kind of what they were doing. So I don't know what they, it just seems like they were trying to be like, oh, look how nostalgic and vintage we're trying to be. And I just don't understand why they're doing that.
Yeah, but when you had to do that, because I briefly remember having an antenna on a TV, and I don't remember having to like link hands with someone to like get the reception right.
No, no, but I think that's what they were going for. Like you didn't, you kind of, I remember I
You had to like
had to
wiggle it
hold,
around and
yeah,
stuff.
you had to like wiggle it around and you kind of had to hold it in place just perfectly to get it right. I mean, I think that's what they were going for, to like see everything. They had to like hold hands and balance. And she made a comment about like, oh, 15 years she's been like, I don't know, working her ass muscles or some shit like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Wasn't that fun?
And we also got to see Diana have a wardrobe change, because apparently in the VHS dimension where she lives, she has a whole closet of different clothes and makeup and hair accessories and all these different things, which is doesn't make sense to me. How the hell did she get her hair in curls? How did she get her makeup done? How she,
Let's Yeah, let's just assume she has a little back room where she has all her toiletries and
yeah.
accessories.
And then basically the unseen guy, the troll, Kayla and Mel and Maggie, they all reveal themselves to him. He's in the middle of a ritual and they take the Book of Shadows from him. They interrupt whatever ritual he's doing. And he kills himself.
Yep. And didn't really accomplish anything.
Yeah, but my thing is, why did they let him kill himself? They just stood there and didn't do anything.
Because it's I've defended the showrunners and writers for this season, but I'm just gonna say it. The finale was just really, really badly written.
Yeah. I just thought it was stupid that they let him die. I thought, do something, but they just stood there. And so he ends up doing some kind of ritual that is, I don't know. He's done this ritual that we find out later in the episode is going to awaken this bomb, which we'll get back to shortly.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was just gonna interject and just say, because Inara's backup plan is that if she doesn't get freed, she was gonna activate this bomb and just kill everyone.
Yeah.
Because she just doesn't want to be locked up anymore. She wants either be free or she's gonna kill everyone, herself included.
So the girls decide that they need to find, because they decide that they need to get in touch with Inara's sisters, and basically go on a journey to find them. We got to see Josephina in the attic with Jordan, and there was this, I think she was with Jordan. No, she was with Harry. And there was a scene where they had this is what kind of annoyed me, because Josephina's whole reason for being on the show and how we were introduced to her was she wanted the Book of Shadows to get her powers back, because as she was a biological male, she didn't have access to those powers. So she wanted the book, and the book didn't exist. They got the book back. They have it now, but we've never had a scene where she's like, I don't know. Because
going after what she wanted. And I guess, you can argue that she did get her powers, in season 3, but it just seemed like her whole, like the Book of Shadows was kind of her gateway into meeting, this part of her family. And it's just a shame they never, went full circle with it. Like they never said, hey, we have the book back, you want to go through it? Like that would have been a great opportunity for them to like cover some of their family history.
Yeah, because
Maybe
there's a family tree in there.
Yeah, maybe she could have like explained, who wrote what or something. It could have been I feel like I know that the showrunners said in an interview that they've pitched ideas about covering like the family and their lineage, but they just never seem to have the time for it. But that's such a bullshit excuse, because they literally have time for characters that no one cares about, like Ruby and Roxy.
Exactly.
And, Well, I mean,
Exactly.
I think Ruby has more fans than Roxy, but it's like, we have room for Mel's many love interests, but we don't have room for, their freaking family.
Yeah, their family tree, their legacy, which I don't really know much about. None of us really do. We know a little bit, but not enough.
Yeah, we know nothing. We know very little about their background or their history. That's one thing that I never was satisfied with season one, because season one started down this trajectory of like getting into their background, and we were even promised, like meeting both the girls' fathers or whatever, and then that never happened, and we were promised a link to Melinda Warren, which never happened. And as the show went on, I mean, I would say season one started out. I actually liked the first batch of episodes, but then they started adding so many storylines, like the Sarkana and the Elders and Macy's demon side. It was just too much.
Yeah,
And I just don't understand how they did not have room for the things that people actually wanted.
yeah,
The Hallowells had many episodes where they explored their past, like one of my favorite episodes, I think a lot of people's favorite episodes, is the one where they went back, they showed flashbacks of, when their Grams died, and how she um did the spell to have them, to like what she bound their powers. And then,
yeah.
yeah, like, so they showed that, and they even went back to the time of their ancestors. So it's just a missed opportunity. And considering Mel is a time witch, they could have fit an episode where they went back and saw their great grandmothers or something.
That would have been really cool. And so back to the show, well, back to the present in the show. Harry necrolites uses his necroliter powers on the guts, which is on the bag that the book is in. And he kind of goes to talk to the troll. I guess that's his whole subplot for this episode, is he's just like working through whatever he's got to do in the other world. Um, and then we get to the part of the episode that really made absolutely no sense to me whatsoever. So Maggie and Jordan, they go to find the Guardian, and Maggie has a premonition, and she finds out that that she's in some, like, she's being beaten up by demons.
Right.
And
Ugh.
so that takes them to, they go to this location, which turns out to be like this like demon fight club.
Yeah.
And
I thought this whole sequence was stupid.
it was
I
really
Who wrote the finale?
Jeffrey Lieber and Nikki Renner,
I'm
the
just
two showrunners.
I don't understand, because they used the Guardian before, and they even had Maggie said, you're supposed to be like this floaty, nice spirit type thing, and she's over here like getting her kicks off, beating the crap out of demons, like literally like doing a fight club thing. Like I thought she wasn't allowed to leave the command center, like that thing under the command center where, like, I thought she wasn't allowed to leave the tree.
Yeah, she was cast into the tray.
Like, they literally say that, like, just 2 episodes ago, they said that one of them was forced to be immortal and walk the earth. One was forced to like be one with the tree, which is in itself really stupid. And then the third one was like, Inara, she was punished and like locked in a cave or whatever. So it just I don't understand. Like, the Guardian character in this episode is literally nothing like it's like a whole different character.
Yeah, I felt the exact same way when she was talking, the way she was, the way her hair was up in braids, the way she just carried herself. It was like, I'm a bad bitch type thing. And the previous episode, she's all ethereal. And
Yes.
they tried
Yeah.
to make it,
Yeah.
they tried to like link it to Maggie being angry in the previous episodes. And that the reason that she's doing this is because she's acting out because of an hour.
I mean, I get it, but it's still so stupid, you know, and the fact that if we're supposed to believe that this former charmed one who's been sentenced to be in this tree or near this tree, but not really because she can go leave whenever she wants, apparently, and go beat up demons for fun. Um, you know, we're supposed to believe that she's been doing this for like thousands of years, I guess.
Mm,
And that Maggie just gets through to her after like punching her a couple times,
yeah.
just being like, oh no, I'm just like you. And
Mm.
then she just like wakes up and just like, okay, I'm on your side now. Speaking of just, I guess let's talk about the other one. I don't remember their names. There's like Inara.
Ishani. Inanna. No, Inara is the bad one.
Yeah.
Ishani is the cutesy one. And Ishtar is the guardian of the tree.
So it's Ishani.
Yeah, it's
Okay, so
Ishani.
Ishani, yeah, let's talk about her too. I mean, we only got introduced to her that one episode, which her scenes got undone in the timeline. So, but like we learned about her that she's more kooky and more modern, and you know lives on Earth, and you know fine. But then you know they basically show her as being just this waste of a human existence, like where she's like just hanging out at a bowling alley where there's old people and she's propositioning threesomes with them and
Yeah, with
getting
like two
drunk.
old people.
Like I just it's like they're I understand that they want to draw parallels between the current charmed ones and like these ancient charmed ones, but it's just ridiculous. Like I know
Yeah.
they want Maggie and the Guardian to have similarities, and they want Mel and Shani to have something in common too, but it's just so stupid. But
And
don't. But I want to get into Inara though. I what did you want to say?
I know I was going to say that Mel basically gives her like a hug and tries to like relate to her, like you said. And
Yeah,
so basically the girls decide that they need to resurrect Inara.
yeah, because she's already like you know because Josefina it's just so weird because they had Josefina try to use her powers to disarm the bomb and it didn't work. So it was just a weird like it was just a, like just felt like they just filled up the episode's runtime with things that didn't lead anywhere. Like earlier, when Harry was talking to the troll in the veil, like he was so you when they did the scene, you can see that you know Harry was explaining that Inara was lying to him and all that, but then it cuts forward and he's just like, oh no, I couldn't get through to him, and he just kept going on and on. So I'm like, what was the point of even showing that?
Yeah, I know. And so I guess when that happens, because they resurrect um Inara, they must have they went back in time to do that because that was happening during the they must have done because that was happening during the pink moon. So
So
in that,
did they go back in time again?
well, I don't know. I mean, they didn't.
I thought that the pink moon was happening at the time of yeah, like when the nine or whatever, when they sacrificed themselves, wasn't that during the pink moon?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, because they already went back in time before they resurrected her. So they decided to resurrect her themselves, but on their terms.
but does that mean that what's her face is still alive then? Miss Catty Claus, I can't remember what her name is. You know that girl that
Honey?
yeah.
No, she's dead.
Oh, okay. Well, I can't.
Everything, no, all those, anything like where when Dev died, everything at that point could be changed. It was until Dev's funeral that was the time where they were able to go back, which is so stupid. Because for plot reasons, you know, they can't have Dev back because the actor is unavailable, and then there's no way in hell that Madeline Mantock is coming back. So of course they're going to have to address, well, if Mel can go back in time, or Maggie, using Mel's power, if she can go back in time, why not do it before these characters died? And they had to say, no, it has to be at this exact moment when Jordan's singing at Dev's funeral.
I know.
No explanation, nothing
It's
at all.
stupid.
They just show him singing. They're like, this is the moment. This is the only moment.
It's stupid. The girls too, they didn't consider that when they were developing the powers, I don't think.
But it's just so stupid because they knew, again, they knew they were going to get canceled. They knew, they knew that there was a big chance. They knew that there was likely a cancellation coming.
Yeah.
So they could have resurrected Dev to give Kayla a happy ending. But then they could have, let's say that they did get a season 5 and they knew they weren't going to have him back. They could have just said that, maybe they parted ways off screen, or maybe had him just do one guest appearance to wrap up his storyline. But they could have given Kayla a happier ending, because I'm jumping around a bit, but like, everyone had. What I did like about it is that everybody had some sense of closure. Maggie and Jordan were officially together, and they're moving in together, moving out of the house. Mel is going to take over the Blue Camellia. Harry and Jordan, they have decided what they want to do with their powers, and like what their new lease on life is going to be. And I guess Kayla is just going to be drawing more. So it's like they could have done more for Kayla. They could have given her Dev back.
Yeah. And so basically what happens is there's a little bit of an argument with Mel, with the girls. They argue, they bicker with each other. The old charmed ones bicker with the new charmed ones. And Mel's like, well, you know what? If the world ends, it's your fault, because this bomb's going to go off and it's going to destroy the universe and everything's just going to be done with. So they go off and we get to see Josephina use her powers, which was really nice. I appreciated that because I like Josephina. She's like one of the best parts of the show. And so then we're treated to a really bad scene where basically this bomb's going to go off and it shoots 3 bright pink lasers out of it.
Yeah, 3 lasers that are just conveniently shooting out. So I wonder how they're going to, it's just so stupid.
This is the thing. It looked ridiculous because bombs don't shoot laser beams. Bombs just blow up. That's what a bomb does. But this bomb shot pink energy, and the girls put themselves in front of it. And then, the OG charmed ones came in. They're like, "Oh, this is my destiny." No, Inara did that, didn't she?
Oh my God, it was so stupid. She went from being this cackling villain with who's gone mad with being locked up all this time, and she wanted to take out the whole world. And we saw her the previous episode when she had her way, like how she killed everyone just to, she was not someone to be messed with. And here she goes, just decides to change her mind and have a kumbaya with her sisters and die with them. Like, come on, that's so stupid. What they should have done is, instead of the stupid laser beams, they could have just said, whether it was a spell they did or something that allows them to siphon the bomb into them, which would kill them, fine. What they should have done is they could have had Mel start and be like, no, I'm gonna take all of this into me, and if it kills me, then so be it. And then the other 2 join with her, and they can link hands, have a power of 3 type thing, and go together. But then the stupid beam things was so stupid. But then they could have channeled that instead, and then directed toward Inara or some shit. I don't know, like something different. Like I feel like it could have been more emotional and it could have been more satisfactory than just the villains just changing their personalities on a whim to fit the story.
Yeah, it's just not good writing. It's not, people characters don't just suddenly change in like from one scene to the next, like total 180. Apparently off screen they had this big deep conversation. So yeah, and I just thought that was stupid. But I guess one of the ways that we can explain and the only possible way that I can explain the three beams would be one beam for the Vera world, one beam for the Halliwell world, and one beam for the other world, because Joey Falco revealed that their plan for season 5 was there was going to be another world where male charmed ones live. And that is the only way I can think that this bomb could possibly be a thing. But they never alluded that in the show. We just see a bomb with three beams. That's the only way that I
Yeah,
can.
yeah, we'll never know now. And like I said, we can definitely theorize of what about what season 5 would have been had we gotten it.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we just got really ridiculous writing, very inconsistent character development. Everything just fit neatly, but it could have ended there. I think overall, it would have been fine if they had just left it when they're all together, hungover or whatever, and just talking,
Yeah.
having like a hopeful future, but already like maybe they could have done a flash forward or something. Another they could have done another time jump because it's so weird. They did a time jump the previous episode and then they undid it. So they could have done another time jump and just showed like where they are in their lives and how they're, like a double, like a way that would have served as a series finale.
Yeah.
And then that would have been it. And they could have ended it there. But no, they decide to do the big scene at the end.
And so what ends up happening is the girls kind of have like their afterward talk. There's a scene where Kayla shows a painting that she did of the three of them, and the painting
Oh
was,
God, the painting was questionable, and they knew it was questionable because they barely showed it.
I just think it wasn't very good.
No shade to the art department or whoever made that painting, but oof, it was not great.
Yeah. And so I don't know. It was kind of cute, but then it just didn't look anything like them at all.
Yeah.
Maybe slightly, but the very very sort of, yeah, it just was no. Especially Mel. I don't think Mel looked like her at all. And Maggie looked, yeah, they just look different. Um, and so this alludes we get so this whole scene is kind of like it's similar to the premiere. They do everything similar, but in a different way. So I got confused. I got confused by this whole scene because they were doing Josephina putting the stuff in the fridge and talking to Mel. And Mel, they have a conversation about that. Maggie wants to move to a different about Maggie
Yeah.
moving. That kind of confused me. I thought that maybe the bomb had like changed the past or something, but no, apparently that was just repeating the same thing but showing it in a different way, in a positive
Yeah,
way.
yeah, they were showing like the before and after of like this is where they've grown from.
Yeah. And so basically Mel's like, there's an apartment for rent, Maggie, and you can go and live there with Jordan, which kind of getting them out of the manor, which is kind of where they're supposed to be together, but I guess they're going to go off together.
Well, I mean, like it makes sense. It would have been an interesting thing for them to try. I mean, Phoebe moved out of the Hallowell Manor at
mm,
this point, so I mean, it can still work. I mean, I mean, for all we know, that could have lasted only like a couple of episodes.
yeah, yeah, you're right. And Harry and Jordan talk in the attic. They talk about what Harry wants to basically help the living with his new power. He wants to help like the dead and the living, like kind of bridge the gap and like focus on the living rather than on the
Yeah.
dead.
Yep.
And
And then
Jordan,
Jordan, he wants to not just help witches, he wants to help all magical beings.
yeah, he said he wants to carry on being a white lighter for the magical community, which we've just found out from one of the showrunners that Jordan isn't a white lighter at all.
He's just has healing abilities.
Yeah, so I don't know. Um, and then this is the big part. So Harry comes downstairs and speaks to the girls and said there's something in the store, the VHS store, that they need to see. So the girls go up there. They have a little discussion about what's behind the door, and Diana leaves them a note. And
Oh, because she's free. She's
yeah,
like, see ya.
yeah, somehow she managed to get free after all of that, which is weird. But I kind of feel like maybe Diana sort of knew what was going to happen. I don't know. We just have to kind of go with whatever. Somehow she got free. And she left, and they saw this triquetra on the door, so they opened the door. And where did the girls end up? At the Halliwell Manor.
So I want to give. So, okay. I have mixed feelings about it. Had the show been renewed, I would be standing this hard. And I think a lot of people got excited when they knew that that scene was coming. I think it was one of the promos leaked that scene by,
Yeah, yeah, they
against
did.
Joey's wishes. But ultimately, it did cause a lot of hype and people were really excited. And it's funny because I had joked to you and I said, I bet you it's going to end with them going into the manor and that's going to close behind them. And that's exactly what fucking happened. I was so pissed because they knew that they were likely going to get canceled and they still decided to end it that way. And I don't care if Joey thinks it was like a smart or big thing, like a big note to end on. It is a cliffhanger. It is a cliffhanger. You're leaving a story unfinished, knowing that no one is going to continue where you left off officially. And even the writers are like, well, there's fanfics, but it's not the same. And if someone comes along to reboot the show again, they're not going to bring in the Veras. They're going to do their own thing.
Yeah,
So, like, we'll never know what could have been. And it's just a shame because they decided to do this kind of crossover on this scale. They decided to do it at the very, very last minute when they literally could have done it for the past 4 years.
How dare you!
And even then, they had a whole 13 episodes to do whatever they wanted. And
yeah,
they decided to do it last minute.
yeah. So I will tell you. So when this scene came on, um, I think a lot of us were very, very excited. I was excited, and I will admit I did cry. I had a little bit of emotion. A bit of emotion came over, and I did cry, but I wasn't crying because the reboot is over. I was crying. I cried. I shed a few tears, not a lot, only a few, because it brought back all the nostalgia and everything that I loved about the original Charmed. It brought it all back. And in that
And yeah, go ahead.
and in that moment, I just felt like, oh my God, it just brought back those emotions. But that was it. That was all I felt. I wasn't like, oh no, oh my God, the show's over. I can't believe it's over.
I should care about that, but I don't.
That is like the biggest issue that I have with them doing this scene is because they teased so hard the connection to the original by doing this. And in an interview, they literally said that they had full intention of trying to get any OG cast member to come back for the season 5 premiere. So we don't know who could have been because they claim that the actual talks would have happened over the summer. So now they would have, like, around this time is where they would figure out who they were going to get, but they don't even know who they would get, and they won't ever know. So all they could say is that they were just going to try very hard. It could have been Chris or Wyatt. It could have been Alyssa.
I think they were really rooting to get one of the original girls back.
Right, right. I mean, but as we know, it's not going to be Rose and it's not going to be Holly. It would have probably been Alyssa or Shannon, and because of Shannon, because of Prue's character being where she is, I don't think it would have been her. It probably would have been Alyssa
Yeah. So
or Leo. We just don't know.
no, it's kind of well, you know what? Joey said that, but you know what made me laugh is there was actually some shade thrown on Twitter because somebody said that Inara's character was based on Holly Mary Combs, and Joey
Hmm.
Falco liked the tweet. So everybody,
Possibly.
sorry, this idea that this character that everybody loves and she wants her own. I, I don't know if that's true, but I don't think if you're gonna like go about trying to get her on the show, maybe not like a tweet that's like shading her. That's kind of where
Holly would never do it. And
no,
like she wouldn't. She's spoken against the reboot so hard. Um, I don't think she would ever do it, even if they offer to pay her what she thinks she's valued. I don't think they would have. I don't think she would have gone for it because there's so many OG fans that hate on the reboot so much that they literally tag her in everything and she either likes or responds to it. So she would piss off a lot of people by even appearing on the reboot.
yeah,
So yeah.
but Joey actually mentioned that he was considering asking Holly as well. So she was on the table as well for them to ask. So
No, I don't know. I mean, behind the scenes, we don't know. I know that maybe he had full intention to reach out and um, present an olive branch or something and just say, there's been bad blood, but we hope you can make a guest appearance and we will give you some creative control so Piper will be written in a way that's respectful or something, maybe, or who knows? I mean, a lot of people joke that if it hadn't been Piper, she would have just blown them up or banished them from the house.
yeah,
Because in the interview, they did say that the Hallowell Manor scene would have, lasted a few minutes and they would have been transported back to their world right away. So, I mean, I think how it would have gone is somebody would have found them there and then probably banished them. And they're like, oh, wow, that was intense. Let's not do that again. And then, that probably would have been it.
yeah, and so ultimately, what are your feelings on this episode? I just want to say, I felt like they did that scene wrong with the door shut because they kind of alluded to the door shutting magically, but it didn't though, because if they were alluding that it was Prue, where was the jingle? Why did the door move so slowly? So a lot of
I
people
was
said,
I was under the impression that it just closed just because of
yeah, I think so, because people have
yeah,
said that it was Prue, and I just don't think it was. Because when Prue
no.
uses her powers, the door moves fast. It doesn't just like, yeah. So
Yeah,
it
it
was
just seemed like it was just closing on its own, like just with the momentum.
it was a nice touch. I will say that this scene didn't piss me off. I thought that it was a nice touch to end the series. I wish
But
that
oh, go ahead.
I just wish that they'd have done it sooner.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna nitpick because I appreciate the effort that went into recreating the manor. I do want to talk a little bit behind the scenes because and a lot of fans, fans are never, some fans are just never happy. They nitpick the hell out of the scene. They were like, oh, that's not how the manor's supposed to look, or Obviously the real Hallowell Manor, the inside is a set. They did film inside the real house that they used for the exteriors. They did film inside it, I think, for the pilot, but then they moved
The
filming
original
into like an
show.
actual of the original show. Yes.
Yeah.
And they moved it all to a set, and then they used like the actual outside of the house for like exterior shots. And occasionally they would film outside of it. But the floor plan of the Hallowell Manor, as seen in the original, is way different than the inside of the actual house. So when people were seeing how the finale used the Hallowell Manor and they showed them walking in, they were like, oh no, the layout's all wrong. But it's like, no, they replicated the actual house. They didn't replicate the set from the original show.
Yeah. I think that
I think to be fair, they could have used a green screen or something to make it look like the set, but I appreciate that they tried and they did what they did. And then the aerial shot, like they had a GoPro pan out and show the whole thing. I mean, like you, it just made me nostalgic.
Yeah, I think so. The tea on that is that I guess one of the writers, the way they were able to do that is because that was a new shot that they actually shot down in the road in California. Joey Falco lives kind of, I guess, no, in Los Angeles. I think that's where the house is. Uh,
Mhm.
Joey Falco lives close to the house. So basically, what they did is one of the writers on the show, the new writers that came in towards the end of the series, he knew the landlord of the house, and basically they set up the shop, and that was it.
Yeah. So they recreated so where the parts where you see the actresses in front of the door, that's a set in Vancouver. So they didn't actually go to the house. They were on a set stage, but then the way that they cut it and did the pan out, they actually I mean the transition was pretty good, I'll give them that. So like when the door closed, then that was Vancouver, and then when they panned out, that was the actual house in LA.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's how that scene was done.
So overall, what are your thoughts on the episode, and what would you rate the episode?
I give it a 5. If it was gonna have if it was gonna get renewed and we would have a new season coming, I'd probably rank it higher, maybe like a 7. But there's no excuse for the bad writing.
No.
But because it's the series finale, and I've said many times that they had an idea that was going to happen, that they would be canceled. Shame on the writers for doing.
Oh,
No, I'm
shade.
sorry. I'm sorry. I defend the writers so many times, but I can't. It's inexcusable for them to end it the way that they did. I appreciate, like, it would have been fine if it was a new season coming, but no, like I hate that that's how it ended, because my heart dropped. I actually watched it today before recording this with you, and because I've been sick, I haven't been keeping up with it, and I watched it today for the first time, and the you know I love the reboot. It has a certain charm to it. I know it has its problems, but I really do like the reboot. And I there's something special about season 4. I hated 2 and 3, but season 4, I feel like they had something special there. And I actually do like Kayla. So my heart sank knowing that it's the end and it's over. And yeah, I hate I really, really hate the writers for deciding to do this last minute, literally last minute.
Yeah. Um, I would rate the episode. I'm going to give it the same rating as you. I'm going to give it a 5. And the only reason that I'm giving it a 5 is because of the opposite of you, because they kind of, the way that how the ending kind of was, the nostalgia. I thought the actual episode itself was terrible.
It was
Um,
trash.
it was not good at all. I'm really sorry to say this because, you know, I have spoken to some of the writers and things, and, you know, I know some of them watch the podcast and things, but, or listen to the podcast. I was very let down by the episode because I felt that the writing just was not there. It just was
No.
not there. And what let me down about it is there was no power three.
Nope.
There was no active powers.
No
We well,
Vanquish.
no
No.
Vanquish.
Mhm. No Book of Shadows. No iconic moments.
They
No
spent the
hand. Yeah.
they spent the whole episode hauling around the book in a bag with guts.
Yep. They didn't even give us one final scene with the book. They could have used it. They could have literally, they could have just I don't know, like there's so many different ways they could have incorporated it. Even if the artist for the book wasn't available to make anything new, they still could have shown it. They still could have given it a presence. It's just so weird that they brought it back, and like I'm glad that they used it. I'm glad they brought it back, but I was really hoping that they'd use it a lot more as soon as they brought it back. But they used it like 3 times, and that was it.
Yeah, and it was just the episode. I'm annoyed as well, like you, that I'm annoyed that they chose to use the Halliwell Manor for the last scene, and they didn't give us anything for like 4 seasons, and then they suddenly give it to us when they think they're going to get cancelled. I mean, that was just no.
It's disrespectful. That's what it is. It's too little, too late. And like I said, we didn't. It wasn't. It's just funny because we have been asking for any connection, even if they talked about it, even if it was just a throwaway line or a reference, that would have been fine for us.
Yeah,
But they decided to actually show the Hallowell Manor. That's such a huge crossover, literally, that it is the reboot now is one and the same with the original. Whether you like it or not, that is facts now. It is canon. They are in the same universe. And all that came out literally in the last 3 minutes.
yeah,
And it's over.
yeah. So that's it. That's the end of the reboot. That's the end. Well, I'm really glad that we got to review it together. And we've had some good moments, there's some bad moments, we've had some good episodes, there's some not so good episodes. But I've enjoyed doing this with you.
I would have, if it wasn't for my personal stuff, I would have loved to do every episode and be more on time with it. But I'm glad that you had a replacement come in and help you with it. So thank you, Caleb, for stepping in when I wasn't here. I do want to do one more. I would like to talk about what season 5 would have been, and I would like to react to the interview that Joey Falco did with a fan. I think her name is Christy Maldonado.
Yeah.
Yeah, so before the series was over, she said if he was willing to spill some tea, and he agreed. And he also revealed a lot of stuff about season 5. So I would like to react to that interview and go more in depth about season 5 and how fans have been reacting to the cancellation.
Yeah. Okay. So, you got anything else to add?
Nope. Thank you guys for listening and being on this journey with us. I hope you'll join us one last time for that interview we talked about, and we wish you well.
We wish you well. That's what Hallie Mae Combs said, didn't she? We wish them well. Yeah.
Bitterness and lies.
Anyway, so
Maybe we'll talk about Madeline too.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll make it like a big T thing, or just title it "Everything That Went Wrong with the Reboot." I don't know. I do want to say, in case no one decides to listen to that other one, that last one I was talking about, for anyone listening, I am working on a fan project for the reboot. I don't want to give it away right now, but I think a lot of people would be interested. So if you want to hear more about it, please tune in into that last episode we're going to do. And, when we react to the season 5 stuff.
Okie dokie. So thanks for listening, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.
Bye.